It's 1997 in the city. There's a raging heat wave, an incredible drug war in the streets between the Colombians and the Jamaicans and the police trying to intervene. And the predators have always chosen heat and conflict, where the action is, where the danger is. What would it be like to have an extraterrestrial dilettante hunter hunt us the same way that we go to Africa and hunt big game? That was the very first concept. The first one was set in Central America, where a lot of military action was taking place. Had it been 20 years before that, it probably would have been someplace like Vietnam or Cambodia.
You feel like you're watching one of Arnold's, action flicks, and then all of a sudden, out of left field comes this alien.
When we were in the jungle, we always talked about what possible sequels there might be, and one of the fantasies we had is what would this camouflage effect look like? What would the predator look like in an urban environment? What would he look like against concrete and steel in the cities? So that was one of the things that we always toyed around with.
The writers had done the first one, and so they knew the story really clearly, and so that was really helpful. And I don't think they'd quite finished the script when I first came on. They really talked me through it, and then they showed me where they were. And because it was happened so quickly, then I worked with them, and I'd be storyboarding sequences to see how these sequences could work. They knew what the sequences wanted to be, they just hadn't completely described them all.
It's always a question with sequels. So many times they have a tendency to beat the same idea to death again.
It's not just an alien movie, it's not just a horror movie, it's a detective story, it's a mystery, it's a science fiction story, it's an action movie, and it crosses over into a lot of different genres.
This is quite cerebral, and you get a sense of who this otherworldly being is, and I don't use the word monster, otherworldly being is, and his train of thought.
I think the first Predator was a terrific experience for all the moviegoers, because it was a terrific creature, but it went to the jungle, and the jungle is something we may see on the news, but it's not really part of our daily lives because we all live in the cities and suburbs. And I think this movie really hits home because it shows the dangers of the city. It shows where we may be headed if we're not careful with our air and our crime and our violence in the streets. Basically what happens is, this creature realizes that this is a place to party. This is hot stuff in the city.
Like a redneck on a weekend and goes hunting for trophies and fun. And hopes to leave with enough stuff to impress his friends.
The predator is now in an urban environment rather than in the jungle. And actually it's left it much more wide open for planning of stunts, because we have motor vehicles and buildings and large expanses between buildings that he can leap and jump down from tall buildings to lower buildings and stuff, where in the jungle we were somewhat limited to just the trees and the bushes and things.
He's off on a wild trip. This one is not doing what normal predators do, which is hunt and go by the rules. He's definitely breaking all the rules. So he's a wild boy.
All of a sudden it gets turned around, right? Yeah, there's a reversal in this movie. The humans are being hunted. It's about time. That's kind of a universal statement here.
Up until the 20s or 30s or 40s on this planet, hunting was very much a manly and a heroic thing to do, and never thought of as detrimental to the environment or sadistic in any way. And like you say, it's a reversal in that way. I don't think this creature sees it as a wrong thing to do. He sees it as an honorable opportunity.
In terms of the environment, I mean, what if it's 110 degrees all over the world in 1997? We could be headed that way. Who knows? But anyway, these outer world life forces that come in have these self-defense mechanisms that they can exist anywhere, anytime, any place. And if they get cornered or confused, they will terminate themselves rather than being captured. And this is what my character knows. And it's a delicate job, trailing him. And we have all kinds of sensor computers to test his heat and to see where he is, to find out where his spacecraft is, to find out where he eats, what he eats, where he's going to hit next, what his patterns of decomposing the enemy is, and who he's after. And I want to get in here, and I set up the last mission, which was the CIA commission in the jungles. And that's how we lost the character that Arnold played. We lost him 9 weeks after the movie was over. That's why he's not here.
So Arnold went off to do Terminator 2, which is a much bigger project with one of the great directors in the world. And I think in a way it was interesting not to have Arnold in it, you know, because it just made it a really different piece.